Hi there, everyone. Thank you for being here today. We're going to go ahead and get started in the next 30 seconds or so. So we'll go ahead and sit tight while more people join the webinar here with us today. All right, it looks like we have a good group with us today. Thank you again for taking the time to join Indium and Kognitos in this representation of Beyond the Backlog, how AI is finally fixing submissions, claims, and onboarding in insurance. We're very excited for this webinar today. And before we even dive into the introductions and all of that sort of information, I want to make sure that everyone knows what we're going to be covering today. So the major topic of conversation is going to be around streamlining underwriting efficiency, transforming claim registration, and transforming the complex agent onboarding process. So everybody who's on this call likely has been impacted by one of these very major and pervasive workflows. And we're also presenting this not just from the carrier perspective, but also from that of the MGAs, the agents and brokers, the shared service and BPO organizations that are involved in handling a lot of this outsourcing. And we're going to talk to you a lot about the partnership between Kognitos and Indium and how we specifically solve these challenges in ways that other solutions have been unable to do so in the past. So diving into our agenda for today, we'll be doing a round of introductions for those joining us today on the call. We'll also be talking about the specific challenges in automating insurance and why incumbent players, other agentic providers, etc., have struggled to solve these very common use cases in insurance and what can be done about them. And we'll be talking about how this partnership together makes AI safe and scalable within those carriers, brokers, MGAs, and agents. We'll dive into those use cases specifically, spend some time on each of them, and then throughout this entire presentation, please, we welcome your use the Q&A function there at the bottom of your webinar to provide your questions, and we'll either get back to you live during the webinar, during our Q&A session toward the end, or we'll be sure to respond to you directly following this. And everyone will always ask, and I will be ready for the answer for it. We are recording this right now. This webinar will be available to you generally within the same day or within 24 hours of the recording. You'll get a copy of this link to it in your inbox. So we look forward to that. So on today's webinar today, I'm very happy to be joined by not only my colleague Chitu, who's responsible for our global partnerships and relationships here at Cognitos, but also Jagan and Ramesh, respectively, from our partners at Indium, who bring a wealth of knowledge and experience to the space. So thank you all for being here with us today and sharing your knowledge with the group. So diving into it, for those that are unfamiliar, Cognitos is a software organization. We specialize with our platform in neurosymbolic AI automation. And that essentially means that we offer a business process automation solution that is not only a native AI solution, but it also has a promise to never hallucinate, to never misrepresent anything, which is just so valuable and pervasive as a need in insurance where it's a highly regulated environment. You can afford to make mistakes. So we position ourselves as a next generation provider against incumbents that would previously be brittle bots that would break, or other next generation solutions of AI, but that Cognitos provides a lot of transparency and visibility and doesn't become another black box AI solution. We're very happy again to be partnered today with our partners at Indium. And I would love, yeah, if one of you wouldn't mind representing the organization, telling us a little bit more about Indium.
Thank you, Joe, and hello, everyone. Uh, my name is Ramesh, and I work for Indium. Indium is an AI digital company. We obviously help a number of customers across multiple industries. Our core capabilities are around generative AI, digital engineering, quality assurance, gaming, and data and analytics, where we focus on delivering some high impact business solutions for our customers. We are a global SI with more than 5,000 associates based across the globe. And we serve almost all the industries out there, be it healthcare, insurance, financial services, retail, manufacturing, or other technology clients. We have a tremendous amount of focus on building up Gen AI capabilities across the life cycle of software development, as well as in delivering high impact generative AI driven solutions for our end customers. Back to you, Joe.
Thank you very much, Ramesh. It's wonderful.
So if we can add, we are very excited with the Kognitos Indium partnership to bring in next generation solutions for our insurance carriers.
Wonderful, Jagan, as are we. That sounds great. Well, I think obviously we're here because there's a problem in the space, right? This is not something new, let's say that in the insurance industry. And I know we all felt that recently when we were at the ITC Vegas show talking with a lot of folks in the space. But if you guys could enlighten us and just remind everyone who's in the audience today what the challenges are, what are the pain points related to some of these use cases in the space that just won't seem to go away.
Yeah, no, I think ITC has been, a wonderful experience as well as a great learning for all of us. I guess it's been a wonderful event, and while before we get into all of the pain points associated, let's take a step back and see where the state of insurance is today for most of the insurers that are out there. Right, the last couple of decades has seen our insurance industry go through a significant transformation where insurers have been investing heavily in modernizing their systems and operations. Many of them have embraced off-the-shelf products, the cloud-native policy administration systems like Guidewire and Duck Creek as choices to replace their legacy systems. A lot of customers have also adopted loosely coupled microservices-based, open API-based architecture so that they can integrate seamlessly with their partners and third-party data providers. All of these are intended, obviously, to enhance the efficiency and the customer experience, as well as increase the operational agility as a core business in the insurance industry. So while those transformations have been happening, so has been the industry shift towards enhancing the digital experience platform for the agents or the brokers or the end insureds. Omni-channel capabilities, self-service tools or capabilities all have taken a lot of importance. And so has been the investments in creating and developing predictive analytics solutions, be it to improve the pricing models or to help towards fraud analytics, fraud detection, and fraud prevention areas. And the AI/ML adoption also has been, a core area of focus for insurers, towards building AI-driven underwriting assistance or claims triage assistance or chatbots for better policy servicing. The state of the insurance today, while all these capabilities from a technology and operations perspective have been focused, the state of the insurance today also has led to significant bottlenecks in terms of the manual work that is still there in an insurance process lifecycle. And the solutions that Kognitos and Indium brings to the table actually aims to address some of those challenges in terms of where the manual work is involved, where the human intervention is required in the areas of either a policy servicing or in the areas of claims processing or underwriting data intake process. And these are areas where there is still a number of steps involved where manually today insurance companies spend quite a number of hours and days and weeks of effort to make sure the intake of all the documents happen in the right way. The errors are eliminated, the completeness is ensured, and the compliance is checked for before the actual core insurance process initiates. And that is where the opportunity lies in terms of what Kognitos and Indium brings to the table. And Chitu, this would be a good time for us to also talk about what the platform, what the platform in Kognitos brings to the table with respect to addressing these challenges.
Yeah, definitely, Ramesh. You know, I really honored the partnership we have. For us at Cognitos, partners are like customers. We go together to service our common clients. Together in this partnership, what we have leveraged is the strategic alignment between both Indium and Cognitos. We work hand in hand in all areas, from say delivery, sales, solutioning, in all aspects. Together, we have built a few accelerators very pointed towards insurance sector, which we actually showcased at ITC, and we got tremendous feedback where building these solutions on top of a platform enables customers to think beyond those specific point solutions that they're looking for, but a platform that they can deliver a lot leveraging generative AI. Some of the key things that we offer together with Indium are supporting solutions around various core areas within insurance, like underwriting, claims automation, policy administration, and providing an end-to-end customer experience. So, Jagan, do you want to add something to this?
Sure. From an overall experience standpoint, right, this is an exciting part of this partnership journey, right? We bring in deep domain expertise because we have done this for the last 2.5 decades in terms of transforming claims, transforming underwriting operations, transforming agency operations, right? That's something which is our sweet spot, and we know what it takes to really build the next generation solutions for our carriers, agents, and the entire ecosystem. And Cognitos brings that horizontal capability platform with which we are able to bring the best of both and figure out how we actually can solve some of the fundamental problems which still exist. And in that process, it's a win-win-win for all of us. And that's probably I would say the best of both worlds. Over to you. Back to you, Joe.
Thanks. Nicely put. So, how we are, extending this collaboration that I want to share more. And as we are, sharing this webinar, we are going live with a common customer, as we speak, which is a big testament of our platform where we are processing handwritten documents for an insurance customer. Where this collaboration has proved how we can bring in, the agentic automation, hallucination free, to very regulated industries like insurance and healthcare. And one of the patented capabilities within Cognitos platform is the human in the loop, which is very important because AI will hallucinate. All leading platforms have mentioned that. So when we're using a technology like generative AI, you need that control, the human control, and we have our patented capability where we bring in exception handling in a very clean way, especially when processing handwritten documents, which from this project, we got high accuracy, but still we keep that safeguard to make sure these solutions are rolled out, in high quality. From a partnership value proposition, like I mentioned, partners are like customers to us. From a client's perspective, we provide scalable, safer, quicker solutions together. We work as one team. Indium definitely has a lot of experience from the various industries that they are making sure our platform is highlighted for the customer. We create that value more than just a technology stack. And we have proved that together in multiple occasions. And Cognitos is a brand new AI native platform that is portable, scalable, because you don't have to have any specific infrastructure in your environment to leverage a platform because it is SaaS enabled. And we are able to perform process automations, data processing, invoking APIs, even consume applications over browser. So essentially, the end-to-end life cycle of business process can be, automated using Cognitos. And Cognitos, we'll share a little bit more about the platform later, but it just make it very simple and quick. And the project that we just did together, I think we all went live just in like 4 weeks. So that's kind of a testament of our partnership here.
It's a really great transition, and they don't have to wait very long to learn about the platform there too. I think just hitting that last point, in this type of partnership and with our technology platform, there really is the opportunity for an unmatched speed to value where maybe in the past, if you're familiar with an RPA process or maybe something homegrown, it might be several months, or you might go through a process mining activity and several layers of consultants before you ever see anything that resembles a solution. We're talking about something that can go from process into a production environment in an insurance space in weeks potentially. And that's what you're kind of talking about in that use case. Do you want to kind of revisit with a little bit more technical aptitude there, Chitu, these first 2 points about agentic automation and English as code?
Yeah, definitely. So I personally come from a lot of business automation background with building ERP systems. And we always saw the documents, it's all paper or digital paper, and it also ends as a digital paper. So data is just flowing across these systems, which we call ERP, CRM, they're system of record. And, but if you look from what a business needs is, can they automate their SOPs? And that's where the neurosymbolic platform that Kognitos is built on provides that ability to take your SOPs, put it into executable English code, leveraging generative AI, and you can debug the code, which means you know what exactly being put into production, and you can also read the code because it's still in English. So you're not doing any guesswork on what code you're generating, because vibe code is everywhere, but you need to have a deterministic way, especially in executing business processes, because if a claim is submitted, you want to know what's going to happen to the claim, and you need to have so that you can achieve a better customer experience. And speed to value, I already mentioned. Proofpoint, we just did a project, we started and went live in 4 weeks. And in addition to automation, we also connect with a lot of policy administration systems and ERP systems and CRM systems. So having a platform for you helps not only to automate processes that are specific to insurance, but also extend the same platform for other line of business processes. So that's the value you get. And many customers who visited us at ITC, understood that, there is much more value they can extract from a platform like Kognitos leveraging Gen AI than using point solutions that are just delivering, based on AI. So back to you, Joe.
Yeah, that's a really good call out, Chitu. I think I had some of the similar conversations where I think there was a lot of surprise that not only could this kind of partnership support core business workflows that we've been discussing, but also potentially support other back office or other operational workflows, like you mentioned, to an ERP if they're Oracle or SAP organizations. This could definitely support those or even tie into them if they're related or linked, versus something that's more task oriented. So that's excellent. And I think there's one last point to say is that some of these organizations are very sophisticated when it comes to AI, and they're making their own investments or they have their own preferences as it relates to the models they'd like to use. With Cognitos, there's an opportunity to call in your models in a controlled, governable, understandable way, however you'd like. So in that way, it's LLM agnostic, and you can really leverage the latest capabilities from anything in the market, generally right away or within a 2 week period after an update comes out. So we're very excited and happy to boast about that because we know it really makes an impact to organizations that are very serious about their AI deployments and staying on the cutting edge of the latest technologies. So, without further ado, I know that many of you are here to talk about this in detail, and I'm going to hand it over to Ramesh and Jagan. We will talk about these use cases at a high level. If anyone on this call would like to see a personalized demo or a specific demo to any of these use cases or similar, please be reaching out to us at info@cognitos.com or joe@cognitos, any of the emails from those you've heard from today. We'd be happy to follow your specific use case or dive into these in more detail to actually show the platform off for what these look like. That's exactly what we did on the ground in Las Vegas, and we'd be happy to do that for all of you as well. But I do want to make sure we talk about these because I think they're just very transformative. Ramesh, can you talk us through this use case on the underwriting side?
Sure. So we have so far talked about what the product and Indium brings to the table together. Now let's get to some of the simple use cases that are out there, which really helps us to automate the SOPs that are out there with several of you in your underwriting area. The first one that we want to cover is around how does a Kognitos Indium solution potentially help you in transforming the underwriting submissions. If you look at the overall workflow that conventionally exists today for receiving an underwriting submission, the broker first receives the application, does a quick review of the contents that are out there, collects all the documents, creates a package, and then goes through a couple of steps, which are very important before that package gets ready for going through the risk profiling that an underwriter does. And those are related to the completeness of the documents, the rules, the contents that have to be there, and whether all of those comply with the standards and the guidelines that exist for the package to be sent to the underwriter. Oftentimes, there is always a feedback loop that gets established where information is missing, data is incorrectly coded, and the broker takes the time to completely fix all those issues and then creates the package. And that's when the real underwriter, that's when the underwriting process starts, where the underwriter can go through the risk profiling and the risk assessment procedures and complete the activity. Now, the way the Kognitos Indium workflow solution operates is to take this first part of the process of creating the package and automate it with a Gen AI based solution. And close to 40% of the time that the brokers take around this area can get eliminated through this Kognitos workflow process, wherein the email ingestion automatically monitors the mailboxes, identifies the incoming applications, tags them to the correct policy and the insured, extracts all the documents. As Chitu earlier said, the capability of the product to use the English text to validate some of the rules that are out there, make sure that the cross references are established, and the information that comes through the document are all validated and are all accurate. Once those are done, the platform basically helps to get this data onto the desired databases as needed, or to other structured data formats or unstructured data formats. And if through this process, if the product identifies certain exceptions that have to be acted upon, and there is a need for a human in the loop to be engaged, the platform will automatically trigger that, flag it, and trigger that. So this way, several things happens in an automated manner. The package that goes to the underwriter is free of any errors that we need to make sure does not exist. B, the package is complete with respect to all of the forms, all of the attachments, as well as all of the information that the underwriter expects to see. The checks and validations are done against pre-prescribed or predefined guidelines that exist. And so as soon as this end-to-end process, right from the email ingestion to the package creation happens, the underwriter can initiate the risk profiling activities and the risk assessment activities. So the way this helps insurance companies is to really enhance the efficiencies and the productivity in the life of a broker and an underwriter in many ways, right? What probably takes days or weeks can now be shortened significantly as a result of introducing this Kognitos solution. So how does this happen? It all happens through a workflow automation triggered by Gen AI capabilities of the product and the agentic AI task execution layer that Indium brings to the table, and a thorough understanding of how that process works in terms of document intake to package creation. So it's an area where significant effort goes in manually, and a solution like the Kognitos solution helps automate that process to a very large extent. Chitu, I think this has a lot of similarity to the recent project that we completed in the enrollment side for a health insurer. So it would be good for you to share how the accuracy part and the data validation part was addressed while we went through that exercise.
Yeah, definitely. I've never seen a sales cycle that closed so fast, where the customer was scheduling the next meeting, where usually we have to go for the next time slot. After looking at the platform, the customer was so excited, they pretty much scheduled the follow-up meeting next level. We showed the demo. They gave us the sample files. They gave us like 10 different forms, handwritten forms. The nurses have actually filled out. We showed them the accuracy, and they calculated the accuracy. We did not. So they gave us an accuracy of 96%, and some of the documents were 100%. So, and we could bring that, what do you call, the exception handling, where if a mandatory field was not filled, then the system stops. So the nurse or the user can come and enter the data, and the automation will continue. It's not, it broke, it just stopped, So it was really a big moment for everybody, that I could see the customer is so excited about seeing something so magical happening, because that realizes how much pain they are going through this particular business process. And, and they have vested probably like 1% spend the entire UAT. That was even like more amazing. So the number of people that they could have put to do this project, typically if you're written with coding, you need so many things to worry about, you have to put so many people just to see how the code is moved to production. That was not even worried about. Here we are talking about moving data into production. I think that's a great moment, and we really appreciate, your partnership, bringing that customer. I think it's a great win-win and validation of the platform, how Gen AI is powerful, but it needs to be hallucination free, which Kognitos provides. And end of the day, we all feel good about it. So, thank you for that.
Yeah, really great color. Well, thank you, Ramesh, too. Just really, really great background. I think there's going to be some Q&A questions about this with more detail, but let's keep rolling into the next use cases, because I know everyone's probably anticipating it. And Jagan, I know you're excited to talk about it, but here it is, claims, the be all end all, I
Sure.
think, what it always comes back to. Would love to hear you kind of talk through this
Yeah.
work comp claims use case.
Thanks, Joe. See, the real rubber meeting the road is when when the customer actually experiences the claim, as part of the overall experience, right? So in that perspective, this is a heart and the nerve wire of any company, right? Any insurer, where the clients have to really put their heart and soul to ensure that this is actually working fine. But in today's context, there's so much of manual processing delays. There's so much of time actually being spent on the validation, and not everything is 100%, right? Very error prone, right? How much ever you invest a lot on the core claims operations, this is an area where it's always repeatable errors, and people really get frustrated. That actually ends up in customer getting frustrated. In that perspective, there's so much in terms of challenges that we need to encounter, and obviously it leads to a lot of cost overruns, right? An average cost per claim, I mean, based on some analysis, it's like 2.3K per cost per claim. And if you look at the average claim handling, it's 16 months, right? And obviously there's a lot of straight through processing that have come through, but at the same time, when it comes to complex commercial operations, claims bill review process, it's not as easy as people think. And when we actually touched and felt in the ITC conference as well, still a lot of our insurers are going through this challenge, right? So if you look at the typical claims process, right, they have to submit the forms, FRIA forms, which is actually a manual process. And oftentimes you'll see people actually sending back and forth information. The formats are not same. People have to juggle across multiple touch points through which it's not going right. And in terms of validation, we talked about it. In terms of claim registration, that all of it is actually jumbled and back and forth conversations going on. So what we realize, the art of possible when it comes to the Kognitos platform is, how do you really build a solid automation on a standard operating procedure with a lot of intelligence that is built across the claims value chain, through which we are able to really crank the engine, bring that efficiencies, bring that accuracy, bring the human in the loop wherever exceptions are possible, with which we're able to nurture and bring a lot more seamless operational experience across the board, with which we are also able to improve our claims handling turnaround time, right? That's probably what this platform is all about, and we are already seeing the results come. And a lot of our insurers in the ITC events came back and said, hey, how can we actually take it in house? Can we do this in a matter of weeks and months? And trust me, the conversations are so exciting, right? And this is probably where we also feel that there's a lot more to give back to the customers, to the end customers, on how their experience should be. And pretty excited about this partnership, and excited about how we actually can go and put this in the hands of each and every insurer. Back to you,
Yeah, I
Joe.
want to add to that. When we were talking to the customer, they said, like, how long will it take for you to start and deploy the software? Our thing is, like, you don't have to discover everything. Start with what you already know. And then as these exceptions happen, the code will be automatically updated, and you can still know what code was updated. So you don't have to do a 6 months of discovery to put an automation in place. You start with your, well-known processes, and system will tell if something is really going wrong. So I think when they heard that, they actually came back next day and gave me a sample file and let's show me this. So we are doing a demo tomorrow with them. So.
And even if you look at complex process like bill review process, and I've had the opportunity to set up some business operations for medical review processing, right? Bill review process, and it takes what, several weeks for people to get trained, and then the accuracy and all that. But with some of these automation platforms that we are seeing like Kognitos, I mean, those are things which we should be able to customize and put this as part of the go live in a matter of weeks. So that's probably the confidence, and that's probably what it's the art of possible as far as this partnership is concerned.
Yeah.
Back to you, Joe.
Any other questions, Joe, on the chat?
No, I mean, I think you can make a claim that we can go live faster than a single claim processing timeline, I think is a good one. But I think that's really good, Jagan. I mean, I know that this is a visceral one because you could just feel the emotional frustration of all that's involved. And I think that you've done a great job too of just calling out the sheer cost when the duplicative, multiplicative value here on the carrier side or on the client side or on the individual employee here. It's substantial. These are significant things that I know all parties would love to see improved. So I think you did a really great job of laying that out. I think there's one additional value add that we didn't have a chance to cover earlier, but again, in the demonstration, if anyone would like to see it, there's probably people in every organization that really understand the unique ways that that particular carrier will manage a claim and review it, right? And that we've referred to that as tribal knowledge. Well, this partnership with Indium and Cognitos can actually work to digitize and extract that tribal knowledge for employees and again add that value and bring that into kind of the working intellectual property of that organization to further enhance that automated process. So very cool here. I think that would have a tremendous impact. Well, last but not least, I know we're moving into the last use case here. And Ramesh, this goes back to you. We're talking about agent onboarding in terms of lifecycle management. So yeah, I would love to hear more about your feelings here and why this is such an important use case.
Yeah, we talked about how the workflow solution can help with the underwriting process. We talked about the importance of enhancing the end user experience whenever they have to go through a claims submission process. And now I think that last use case is an important one from a revenue generation perspective for the insurance companies, because agent onboarding is an important part of the revenue acceleration that many companies target for. And with the evolution of Gen AI, and this is one of those use cases that has gotten a lot of attention. And that has to do with how the agent onboarding processes have been traditionally for a lot of the insurance companies. It's often, heavy on paper, it's slow. Many companies today deal with handwritten forms, physical documents that are mailed. There are manual verification steps involved. And all of this typically, takes weeks and weeks of cycle time, and that directly translates to delayed revenue generation and potentially a competitive disadvantage. So add to that all of the complexities that exist in terms of validating the certificates, the licenses, the proof of the compliances for the agents or the agencies, and also the steps involved and the bottlenecks that are there in the form of data capture and data verification and approvals that are needed in many cases in terms of the steps for the agent onboarding. So all these time-consuming, time-intensive processes, has a terrific use case to consider with the Kognitos Indium solution. And with this automated flow using GenAI, what insurance companies can potentially benefit from is, an automated workflow in the intake process where the Kognitos platform monitors the incoming emails, extracts the agent and the license information automatically from those emails, from those attachments, uses NLU to validate those documents against any of the state rules or carrier rules or guidelines that exist. Those could be a checklist-driven process or any other process for that matter. Identify the ones that have to be flagged for exceptions, or if everything looks great, put it on the track for approvals, and that way, the human in the loop can either be engaged for dealing with exceptions or for the approval process with 100% audit trail built into that whole process of intake and validation that the product does. So if we imagine the amount of effort savings and the amount of time that this automated workflow can save, and the direct impact it can have on revenue acceleration, the value of a solution like this can be significant for the insurance companies. And what does that mean? Potentially being able to onboard agents from what it used to take weeks to perhaps days, fewer errors, fewer maintenance and admin costs, and of course, because the platform does it, there is an audit trail for everything, which means that you are fully compliant with all the steps that are expected to be taken as part of the agent onboarding document process. So that's really the third use case that we think is very compelling in the insurance space, and with solutions that embrace Gen AI, these three use cases really demonstrate that companies can now look forward to workflow solutions that can really help them minimize the manual processes and maximize the value that an automated workflow can bring to them.
Yeah, that's great, Ramesh. Chitu, I would just hand that over to you real quick because I mean we're talking about a lot of things here that are direct monetary impact, right? The delayed revenue we talked about. So can you just tell me really quickly, either on the business case on the front end of building these automations or on the performance as it goes along and you're quantifying it, how does Cognitos maybe specifically help these business leaders in charge of these processes show the impact of these results?
So there are many things that when a software is deployed, a customer needs to plan for, procuring hardware, deploying, new licenses, what are the prerequisites and things like that. When it comes to Cognitos, it's a SaaS-based offering. All that you have to do is, we provide an organization in cloud, and the courses that we could give if you need a private cloud, for large deployments, we do help with that. So the application is portable, but they have to sign up. And then programming is very simple because you're writing English as code. We do provide enablement for the teams to understand how to navigate, because software, when you have to get used to it, but it is the onboarding time is 4 hours. You can learn a lot. And from a deployment perspective, they already start to see first results in the week 1. We even have projects that went live in a week. They started on Monday and they were live on Friday. So
Yeah.
these are like unheard of. You probably have mentioned such projects happening in spreadsheets where you write some data and do. Now you're writing automation which can be scheduled. And then some of the cool things that we have already built into is integrations. I know that's very important, because it's not just everything is processed in isolation. It has to be handed on to the next follow-on system. So, that's where Kognitos has a technology we call the books. Basically, it has integrations to several systems. It has integration to several protocols. So even if you have a homegrown system or a standard system out there in the market, we will be able to integrate. So these things come out of the box, and you're still writing integration in English. That's like unheard of, right? So, so I think I've shared many things. If anybody out there deployed projects, you see how you save time, because you're not learning something new. You're speaking your mind. And the little thing I want to share, Joe, is even if you write just like a grammar, how you check English, we can have an agent that to correct an English code if you write something wrong, so that your back is covered by Kognitos, even if you're writing code. So
Yeah, it's brilliant. Yeah, thank you. Well, I think at this point we've been seeing some Q&A come through out of trying to cycle some of those in, and I think we have time for 2 or 3 here at the end. And again, if you don't have their question answered, please feel welcome. We'll try to follow up with everyone that we don't get to just in this time slot. Also, likewise, I mentioned earlier, but if you want to do a personalized demo, you can reach out to either info@cognitos.com or sales@cognitos.com, and we'll align you, and we'll also bring in the Indium team as needed. If you want to do more webinars like this or have some other ideas in the insurance space, you want to share those with me, feel welcome to send that over to joe@cognitos.com. Or as always, we have a community version of Cognitos, so if you'd like to play around the platform, explore for yourself, you can do that and sign up today at cognitos.com/community. But the one question that I got right off the bat, and Jagan, I think this is a question for you. It's what does delivery look like in the relationship between Kognitos and Indium? I think we talked about that speed to value a lot. Maybe it's not clear 100% how we would work together. If you wouldn't mind talking through that really quickly.
Sure. I was just trying to unmute. So as we have always heard, right, Cognitas actually brings in the neurosymbolic AI platform, which is a horizontal capability, right? And what we have consistently seen is it executes SOPs written in plain English and figures out a way to automate across multiple channels of information coming across the board. And as with insurance process, it's pretty complex. It's got multiple ecosystem channels through which information has to be streamlined. And where we felt it's a win-win was applying our insurance, subject matter knowledge, and including the tribal knowledge, including the knowledge that we built over the last 2 to 3 decades. And how do we bring that across the functional value chain and a value stream mapping of an insurance operation standpoint? And we kind of started building that up in terms of how do we configure a claim system or underwriting system or a pricing engine or agent onboarding engine or bill review process and things like that. That's how we actually started putting our mind towards, how do we construct this piece in simple English and which we can go and automate it. And we picked insurance as a use case, but obviously it can be configured for any core process, right? But that with both of us coming together, it's probably a win-win-win. From Kognitos standpoint, from an Indium standpoint, and also from an ultimate customer standpoint, right? When we are seeing this getting implemented, go live in a matter of weeks, where we are streamlining the operations, and we have seen visibly the COOs, the CFOs, the CIOs, and the CTOs getting excited about, hey, is this really possible? I want to pinch myself, right? That's probably the art of possible, and that's how we have actually seen the excitement going around, and that's how the partnership is going to be a win-win-win mindset for Cognizant, from a Kognitos standpoint, from a Indium standpoint, and also from an end customer standpoint, insurer standpoint. So back to you, Joe.
Yeah, really helpful. And Chitu, I think this might be the last question we have here today. But I wanted to ask you about, or it looks like there's a question related to the Cognitos roadmap, but I'm going to relate it to insurance if that's okay for the question provided there. It's right now Kognitos is listed as obviously for workflow automation. The question is really, what are we going to do to continue to expand that roadmap to support not just workflow automation and not just all industries, but specific to insurance? What does this grow up to be, as it continues to develop and as the technology continues to grow in the coming years?
Yeah, so we definitely are, customer first. We are hearing to our customers who are already live with Kognitos platform. What they see is, the way we work with data while they write the English as code. They have also asked for things around, decision making, data search, things like that. So we're definitely, providing more capabilities around that, especially because if you look into industries like insurance, it's heavily data driven, a lot of decisions to be made. So we are definitely working on bringing those insights to where you can search through data and then take decisions. Today we are doing the decisions. We are also capturing the domain knowledge, the tribal knowledge. We are also enhancing for search across your systems, which is now data within Cognitos, data outside Cognitos, bring it together. So a lot of things that we're doing. That's one highlight. We definitely look forward for more things that you want to hear. We are a startup. We are fast, and we definitely are customer first. So we definitely want to hear what more you want to do and what are your current challenges in adopting Gen AI. So
Absolutely. Well, again, yeah, thank you all. Thank you, Ramesh. Thank you, Jagan. Thank you, Chitu, for the time today. And thank you to everyone who was able to join us. Again, any questions anyone has, please feel welcome to reach out to me directly at joe@cognitos.com. And please be sure to look out for our next webinars, all our releases, and more of our shared successes together in this partnership with Indium and Cognitos. But thank you all for the time today. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you, Joe.
Thank you.
Thank you, Joe.
Thank you, everyone.